Question 1. Which of the following best explains why Merkle trees are critical in blockchain systems when handling large volumes of transactions across distributed nodes? A. They encrypt data at rest using symmetric keys, reducing computation time. B. They allow efficient verification of data integrity without needing to download the entire dataset. C. They compress transaction blocks to reduce gas fees during validation. D. They support random node communication in a fully decentralized network. Correct answer: B. They allow efficient verification of data integrity without needing to download the entire dataset. Explanation: Merkle trees, hash trees, allow blockchains to verify large datasets' integrity through concise proofs known as Merkle proofs. This structure enables nodes to validate individual transactions using only a subset of hashes from the tree, e.g., the path from the leaf to the root, making verification scalable and bandwidth efficient. This is especially critical for SPV, simplified payment verification, clients in Bitcoin or any light node architecture. This is aligned with the concepts outlined in Bitcoin's White Paper Section 8 and later technical standards used in Ethereum and other platforms. Question 2. In blockchain cryptography, why is elliptic curve cryptography, ECC, preferred over traditional RSA algorithms for digital signatures and key generation? A. ECC requires longer key lengths than RSA for the same security, improving integrity. B. ECC has higher energy requirements but provides faster decryption. C. ECC achieves similar levels of security with shorter keys, reducing computational overhead. D. RSA is asymmetric, while ECC is symmetric and therefore more secure. Correct answer: C. ECC achieves similar levels of security with shorter keys, reducing computational overhead. Explanation: Elliptic curve cryptography offers strong security with shorter key sizes, making it highly suitable for blockchain systems where efficiency and speed are essential. For instance, a 256-bit ECC key provides a comparable level of security to a 3072-bit RSA key. This reduces storage, bandwidth, and computational requirements across nodes. ECC is the default cryptographic standard for many blockchain protocols including Bitcoin, ECDSA, Ethereum, and Hyperledger. This aligns with NIST SB 801-86 standards on recommended elliptic curves. Question 3. Mr. Kumar is designing a DeFi protocol on Ethereum that enables flash loans and decentralized yield strategies. He wants to ensure that transactions on his protocol do not reveal the sender's identity or their transaction logic. He is considering implementing zero-knowledge proofs, zk-SNARK. What should Mr. Kumar primarily evaluate before integrating zk-SNARK into his smart contracts? A. Whether zk-SNARK can eliminate the need for gas fees during confidential computations. B. If zk-SNARK require third-party validators to confirm the proof. C. Whether zk-SNARK offer computational privacy without adding excessive performance overhead. D. If zk-SNARK enable automatic reversal of failed transactions for user safety. Correct answer: C. Whether zk-SNARK offer computational privacy without adding excessive performance overhead. Explanation: Zero-knowledge, succinct non-interactive argument of knowledge, zk-SNARK, allows one party to prove possession of certain information without revealing the data itself. This is vital for maintaining privacy in DeFi protocols. However, zk-SNARK introduces complex setup ceremonies and high initial computational costs during proof generation and verification. Mr. Kumar must weigh these costs against privacy needs. The application must comply with smart contract constraints on Ethereum, like gas usage and computational limits. This ties into regulatory concerns around transaction privacy, e.g., FATF travel rule, and privacy protocols such as Zcash and Tornado Cash. Question 4. How does a liquidity pool function within a decentralized exchange DEX, like Uniswap or PancakeSwap, and what risk does it introduce to liquidity providers? A. Liquidity pools allow matching of buyer and seller orders directly and eliminate fees. B. Liquidity pools act as centralized order books, reducing price volatility. C. Liquidity pools hold token pairs in smart contracts and can expose providers to impermanent loss. D. Liquidity pools generate returns based on centralized trading volume and fee consensus. Correct answer. C. Liquidity pools hold token pairs in smart contracts and can expose providers to impermanent loss. Explanation. Liquidity pools in automated market maker, AMM, models operate by locking equal values of token pairs into smart contracts, e.g., ETH-DAI. Traders interact directly with the pool rather than counterparty orders. The core risk to LPs is impermanent loss, which occurs when the price ratio between the tokens changes after deposit. Even if fees are earned, the value withdrawn may be less than what was originally deposited. Protocols like Uniswap v2, v3, Curve, and Balancer address this with incentives or dynamic fees. The concept is based on AMM mathematical models like constant product market makers, X*y equals K. Question 5. Which of the following correctly explains how a Merkle root strengthens transaction immutability in blockchain ledgers? A. It makes all transactions public by default, ensuring transparency. B. It links all transaction hashes to a single root hash, preventing tampering with individual data. C. It randomizes transaction order to protect against front-running. D. It directly encrypts the block using private keys of all miners. Correct answer. B. It links all transaction hashes to a single root hash, preventing tampering with individual data. Explanation. The Merkle root is a single hash that represents all the transactions within a block. If even one transaction is altered, its hash changes, altering the entire Merkle tree structure and the root hash. Since this root is included in the block header, changing a single transaction would require recalculating the hash for the entire chain, which is computationally infeasible due to proof of work or equivalent consensus. This ensures data immutability and tamper resistance, and is a foundational component of blockchain integrity and cryptographic trust. Question 6. What is the primary cryptographic advantage of using a digital signature in blockchain transactions? A. It ensures that transaction data remains encrypted during storage. B. It proves the identity of the transaction sender and ensures data integrity. C. It compresses the transaction to reduce gas usage on the network. D. It prevents public key exposure during verification. Correct answer. B. It proves the identity of the transaction sender and ensures data integrity. Explanation. Digital signatures use private keys to sign data and public keys to verify that the data hasn't been tampered with. In blockchain, this ensures authenticity, proof the sender signed it, and integrity, the data wasn't altered. For instance, in Bitcoin and Ethereum, ECDSA, elliptic curve digital signature algorithm, is used. The signature confirms the legitimacy of the transaction while maintaining decentralization. This practice aligns with PKI, public key infrastructure, and ISO IEC 14888 for digital signature schemes. Question 7. What is the key purpose of a Merkle proof in a blockchain environment, particularly for light clients? A. To allow the encryption of transaction data for privacy compliance. B. To provide efficient verification of a transaction's inclusion in a block without downloading the full block. C. To ensure that consensus was reached using a Byzantine agreement. D. To prevent transaction front-running through timestamp validation. Correct answer. B. To provide efficient verification of a transaction's inclusion in a block without downloading the full block. Explanation. Merkle proofs allow light clients to verify whether a transaction exists within a block using only a small subset of hashes, i.e., a hash path from leaf to root. This feature enables SPV, simplified payment verification, nodes to operate without storing the entire blockchain, promoting scalability and accessibility. It aligns with Section 8 of the Bitcoin White Paper and various Ethereum Lite client protocols. Question 8. How does front-running affect DeFi protocols, and what mitigation strategy is most effective at the smart contract level? A. Front-running reduces validator performance and is solved by off-chain sharding. B. It causes duplicate transactions and is prevented by using centralized price oracles. C. It allows attackers to preemptively execute profitable trades and is mitigated via commit reveal schemes. D. It leads to stale data feeds and is prevented by switching from POW to POS. Correct answer. C. It allows attackers to preemptively execute profitable trades and is mitigated via commit reveal schemes. Explanation. Front-running in DeFi occurs when malicious actors observe a pending transaction and submit a similar transaction with higher gas fees to be mined first. Commit reveal schemes delay full disclosure of intent, reducing this risk. This method is a recognized cryptographic design against MEV, minor extractable value, promoted in DeFi security research and auditing frameworks like Trail of Bits and OpenZeppelin. Question 9. Ms. Fatima is analyzing the tokenomics of a new governance token for a DeFi protocol. She wants the token to ensure strong participation in governance, but is concerned about whale dominance. She considers locking tokens for longer periods to gain more voting power. What mechanism should she use to align long-term commitment with voting influence? A. Snapshot-based voting to reduce influence from staked assets. B. Multi-signature schemes with mandatory KYC. C. Quadratic voting with time-weighted locking mechanisms. D. Delegated proof of work, DPoW for token validation. Correct answer. C. Quadratic voting with time-weighted locking mechanisms. Explanation. Quadratic voting diminishes the power of large holders by making additional votes increasingly expensive, while time-weighted locking, used in protocols like Curve DAO, rewards those who commit to locking their tokens longer. This combination ensures fairness and discourages short-term manipulation. This reflects current on-chain governance models adopted by top DeFi protocols and aligns with DAO design best practices under OpenZeppelin governance frameworks. Question 10. Why is public key infrastructure, PKI, critical in blockchain identity management, and what role does it play in wallet functionality? A. It allows secure key sharing between wallets using private key pairing. B. It enables verification of digital signatures using public keys, while keeping private keys confidential. C. It stores biometric data securely in distributed ledgers. D. It uses symmetric keys to encrypt messages sent across smart contracts. Correct answer. B. It enables verification of digital signatures using public keys while keeping private keys confidential. Explanation. In blockchain, PKI ensures authentication and non-repudiation by allowing anyone to verify a transaction was signed by a private key without ever knowing that private key. Wallets generate key pairs private-public, and PKI governs how these pairs function securely. This aligns with standards from X509 certificates and ISO IEC 9594 used in PKI models. Question 11. In decentralized lending protocols like OV or Compound, how is overcollateralization used to manage risk, and what is a key trade-off? A. It eliminates smart contract risk, but reduces total value locked. B. It ensures loan repayment, but increases capital inefficiency. C. It supports unlimited liquidity, but centralizes governance. D. It guarantees stablecoin pegs through price oracles. Correct answer. B. It ensures loan repayment but increases capital inefficiency. Explanation. Overcollateralization means users must deposit more than they borrow, reducing default risks in a trustless environment. While it helps ensure loan repayment, it introduces capital inefficiency, as large amounts of idle capital are locked. This model is essential in DeFi lending protocols governed by smart contracts and aligns with risk management models adopted in decentralized finance. Question 12. Mr. Chen is implementing a DeFi insurance protocol that depends on accurate off-chain data about natural disasters. He's concerned about manipulation or downtime of the external data feed. What should Mr. Chen use to ensure reliability and decentralization of off-chain inputs? A. Embed data on-chain via user-submitted Oracle contracts. B. Use centralized APIs and confirm through majority vote. C. Integrate decentralized oracles like Chainlink with aggregation mechanisms. D. Deploy IPFS to store Oracle data securely on-chain. Correct answer. C. Integrate decentralized oracles like Chainlink with aggregation mechanisms. Explanation. Chainlink, Band Protocol, and similar systems offer decentralized Oracle networks DONs that aggregate multiple sources, making manipulation difficult. This reduces reliance on single sources and improves fault tolerance. It's an industry best practice for DeFi protocols that rely on external triggers, in alignment with EIP 2362 and W3C standards on data trustworthiness. Question 13. Which of the following is a core cryptographic concept underlying zk-STARK that makes them more scalable than zk-SNARK? A. zk-STARK require a trusted setup, increasing auditability. B. zk-STARK use elliptic curve pairing for larger transaction throughput. C. zk-STARK eliminate the need for trusted setup and use hash-based cryptography for scalability. D. zk-STARK reduce privacy by exposing proof logic to validators. Correct answer. C. zk-STARK eliminate the need for trusted setup and use hash-based cryptography for scalability. Explanation. Unlike zk-SNARK, zk-STARK rely on hash functions instead of elliptic curves and do not require a trusted setup, addressing a key limitation in privacy-preserving technologies. zk-STARK are used in protocols like StarkNet to enhance scalability and security. These systems comply with cryptographic soundness principles defined in ZKP standards under Zcash Foundation and Starkware. Question 14. Why is storing large data directly on-chain in a blockchain network considered inefficient and potentially risky? A. It reduces transaction confirmation speed by increasing mining complexity. B. It exposes data to encryption errors during validation. C. It violates consensus rules in POW and POS protocols. D. It creates centralization risks by requiring full node operators to store excessive data. Correct answer. D. It creates centralization risks by requiring full node operators to store excessive data. Explanation. On-chain storage is expensive and permanent, burdening all full nodes with replicating and storing large data sets, which can discourage participation and lead to centralization. Best practice is to store large files off-chain via IPFS or Arweave, while keeping hashes on-chain for verification. This aligns with data efficiency models defined in Ethereum's EIP 721, metadata URIs, and IPFS RFC standards. Question 15. Ms. Rivera is building a DApp for secure medical record sharing between patients and hospitals using blockchain, She is considering using on-chain storage for all records to ensure immutability. However, patient data is subject to strict privacy laws such as GDPR. What architectural choice should she make to meet both regulatory and technological requirements? A. Store all patient data on-chain in a permissioned blockchain to control access. B. Store patient records off-chain using IPFS and only hash references on-chain. C. Encrypt all data with symmetric keys and publish them on a public ledger. D. Use a Layer 2 chain to bypass regulatory compliance temporarily. Correct answer. B. Store patient records off-chain using IPFS and only hash references on-chain. Explanation. Storing data off-chain and referencing it on-chain ensures immutability without directly exposing sensitive data, which is crucial under GDPR, HIPAA, and CCPA regulations. IPFS ensures data availability, and the on-chain hash can confirm the integrity of the record. This architecture is widely used in healthcare blockchain pilots like MedRec and complies with ISO/IEC 27701 for privacy. Question 16. Why is the use of private keys considered a potential single point of failure in blockchain wallets, and what best practice reduces this risk? A. Private keys are stored on-chain and vulnerable to replay attacks. Using POS reduces the risk. B. If a private key is lost or stolen, the associated assets cannot be recovered. Using multi-signature wallets adds redundancy. C. Private keys are backed by smart contracts and can be easily reissued. Enforcing proof of authority mitigates misuse. D. Public keys expose encrypted content. Cold wallets remove the attack vector. Correct answer. B. If a private key is lost or stolen, the associated assets cannot be recovered. Using multi-signature wallets adds redundancy. Explanation. Blockchain transactions rely on private keys for signing. If a private key is compromised or lost, assets associated with it are unrecoverable. Multi-signature wallets, e.g., 2 of 3 schemes, reduce this risk by requiring multiple private keys for authorization. This is recommended by NIST's Key Management Standards, SB 857, and is a best practice for DAO treasuries and enterprise custody. Question 17. In the context of DeFi lending platforms, what role do liquidation thresholds play, and why are they critical for protocol health? A. They prevent validators from executing transactions beyond gas limits. B. They automate insurance claim processes via smart contract oracles. C. They determine when collateral should be liquidated to protect against undercollateralized positions. D. They establish a price floor for stablecoins pegged to fiat. Correct answer. C. They determine when collateral should be liquidated to protect against undercollateralized positions. Explanation. Liquidation thresholds ensure that borrowers maintain adequate collateral relative to their loan value. If the collateral value drops below this threshold, it is subject to partial or full liquidation to protect the lending pool. This model is used in Aave, Compound, and MakerDAO, and is essential for protocol solvency and stable debt ecosystems. Question 18. Mr. Evans is developing a DeFi protocol that aggregates yield from multiple liquidity pools. He notices that frequent contract calls are driving up gas costs and delaying transactions. To optimize performance, what should he implement while maintaining decentralization and auditability? A. Create off-chain bots that rebalance pools and submit zero-knowledge proofs on-chain. B. Replace his liquidity strategy with flash loans to bypass contract interaction. C. Deploy a centralized caching layer for transaction routing. D. Use cold wallets to store gas-efficient validator logic. Correct answer. A. Create off-chain bots that rebalance pools and submit zero-knowledge proofs on-chain. Explanation. By using off-chain computation and submitting ZK proofs, Mr. Evans can reduce the number of expensive on-chain transactions. This approach preserves decentralization and transparency while optimizing for performance. It aligns with design patterns used in ZK rollups and ZK apps, and follows efficiency guidelines from Vitalik Buterin scalability writings and ZK-powered DeFi platforms. Question 19. What primary advantage does off-chain data storage provide in blockchain solutions, especially for enterprise-scale systems? A. Increases the transaction validation rate by reducing finality delays. B. Avoids exceeding block gas limits and reduces operational costs. C. Improves transaction signature speeds using elliptic curve acceleration. D. Enables mining pools to reach consensus faster in POW systems. Correct answer. B. Avoids exceeding block gas limits and reduces operational costs. Explanation. Off-chain storage is essential when dealing with large data volumes that would otherwise exceed block size or gas limitations. IPFS, Arweave, and other decentralized file systems help manage this, while on-chain hashes preserve integrity. This separation is especially important for NFT metadata, supply chain systems, and document verification platforms. Question 20. In cryptographic hashing used by blockchains, what is the significance of pre-image resistance? A. It prevents the need for trusted third-party signatures during consensus. B. It ensures that given a hash output, it is computationally infeasible to find the original input. C. It guarantees that hashing is non-deterministic for enhanced anonymity. D. It confirms that two different inputs will produce the same output. Correct answer. B. It ensures that given a hash output, it is computationally infeasible to find the original input. Explanation. Pre-image resistance ensures one cannot reverse engineer a hash to its original input. This is a core property of SHA 256 and KEKAK 256, and foundational to transaction security and Merkle root integrity. It is enforced in cryptographic standards like FIPS 184. Question 21. Ms. Gonzalez is integrating a blockchain-based Know Your Customer (KYC) module in a DeFi platform. Her concern is ensuring compliance with privacy laws like GDPR while maintaining the ability for regulators to request access. What solution should she consider to satisfy both regulatory and technical requirements? A. Publish encrypted user data directly to the Ethereum blockchain. B. Store user data in IPFS with access, managed via smart contracts and zero-knowledge proofs. C. Use hard-coded private keys in smart contracts to reveal data on request. D. Keep all data on-chain and set access permissions based on token holding. Correct answer. B. Store user data in IPFS with access managed via smart contracts and zero-knowledge proofs. Explanation. To comply with GDPR and CCPA, personal data must be stored off-chain, allowing for correction or erasure. IPFS handles off-chain storage, and ZK proofs can verify compliance without exposing raw data. Smart contracts control access, preserving decentralization while meeting Article 17 GDPR, right to erasure requirements. Question 22. Which of the following best explains how zero-knowledge proofs enhance privacy in DeFi without compromising blockchain transparency? A. They replace validator consensus with symmetric encryption. B. They allow one party to prove knowledge of data without revealing the data itself. C. They use reverse hashing to hide inputs in block headers. D. They expose only metadata while keeping the smart contract logic private. Correct answer. B. They allow one party to prove knowledge of data without revealing the data itself. Explanation. Zero-knowledge proofs like zk-SNARK and zk-STARK are cryptographic tools that prove a statement is true without disclosing why. Used in Zcash, Tornado Cash, and ZK roll-up-based L2 solutions, they balance privacy with auditability. They comply with emerging W3C and FATF data minimization principles in finance. Question 23. What is the main risk associated with timestamp manipulation in blockchain networks, especially in financial protocols? A. It allows block hashes to be reused across multiple chains. B. It can distort event ordering and enable price oracle exploits. C. It causes block rewards to double across validator epochs. D. It exposes private key signatures by reusing nonces. Correct answer. B. It can distort event ordering and enable price oracle exploits. Explanation. Manipulated timestamps can affect event sequencing, such as front-running arbitrage in DeFi or exploiting TWAP, time-weighted average price, oracles. Attackers may adjust timestamps within the allowable range, e.g., 15 seconds in Ethereum, to manipulate protocols. Mitigations include trusted timestamp oracles and block hash anchoring. Question 24. Mr. Aditya is developing a blockchain system for storing academic credentials. He wants to ensure that documents remain verifiable even if the hosting site goes offline. What design pattern should he use to balance on-chain verification with off-chain storage? A. Store entire documents as base 64 strings in a contract and verify via gas refunds. B. Use IPFS to store credentials and anchor their hash on-chain for verification. C. Host data on a centralized server and mirror it weekly onto the chain. D. Store credentials in zero-knowledge proofs that reveal student names upon decryption. Correct answer. B. Use IPFS to store credentials and anchor their hash on-chain for verification. Explanation. This method ensures decentralized availability and data integrity. Even if IPFS nodes go offline, the content identifier, CID, remains consistent for verification. The on-chain hash ensures immutability. This pattern is used in BlockCerts and MIT credential verification projects, aligning with W3C DID and verifiable credentials frameworks. Question 25. What cryptographic feature ensures that any modification of blockchain data, even by a single bit, will produce a completely different hash? A. Avalanche effect. B. Replay resistance. C. Multi-party computation. D. Double spending detection. Correct answer. A. Avalanche effect. Explanation. The avalanche effect is a fundamental property of cryptographic hash functions, e.g., SHA-256, whereby a slight change in input results in a drastically different output. It ensures tamper detection and is critical to blockchain immutability. This property is defined in cryptographic analysis standards, ISO IEC 10118-3. Question 26. What is the role of a hash function in linking blockchain blocks, and how does it contribute to tamper resistance? A. It validates signatures from external APIs. B. It compresses encrypted private keys into Merkle trees. C. It links each block to the previous by including the predecessor's hash in the block header. D. It randomizes miner selection based on entropy inputs. Correct answer. C. It links each block to the previous by including the predecessor's hash in the block header. Explanation. Each block's header contains the hash of the previous block, creating a chain of blocks. Altering any block retroactively would require remining all subsequent blocks due to changing hashes, which is computationally infeasible. This is foundational in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most blockchain protocols. Question 27. Ms. Yuki is auditing a DeFi protocol and notices that its smart contracts lack input validation for user-submitted data. What type of vulnerability does this expose, and what auditing principle should be applied to prevent exploitation? A. It enables zero-knowledge leakage. Mitigation is enforcing signature anonymity. B. It allows Sybil attacks. Use a central identity store to block them. C. It risks reentrancy attacks. Apply input sanitization and function modifiers. D. It opens up for front-running. Introduce EIP 1559 fee randomization. Correct answer. C. It risks reentrancy attacks. Apply input sanitization and function modifiers. Explanation. Improper input handling can lead to reentrancy vulnerabilities, where attackers repeatedly call functions before state updates complete. Preventing this involves checks interactions pattern, input validation, and reentrancy guard in Solidity. Auditing tools like Slither and MythX flag such issues per SWC Registry Guidelines, SWC 107. Question 28. Which best describes a Sybil attack in a blockchain context and its implication on DeFi protocols? A. A consensus attack where hash collisions falsify block headers. B. A storage exploit where oracles leak private keys. C. An identity-based attack where one entity pretends to be many to influence the network. D. A key rotation attack that resets smart contract logic. Correct answer. C. An identity-based attack where one entity pretends to be many to influence the network. Explanation. Sybil attacks involve an attacker generating multiple fake identities to subvert network functions like voting or consensus. Mitigations include proof of stake, web of trust, and identity verification tools. It's a known threat in DAO voting and decentralized governance systems. Question 29. In DeFi, what is impermanent loss, and when does it most commonly occur? A. When Oracle data becomes outdated during rebase events. B. When a liquidity provider withdraws tokens that have changed in value compared to their deposit. C. When slippage causes DEX orders to fail. D. When validators fail to claim staking rewards. Correct answer. B. When a liquidity provider withdraws tokens that have changed in value compared to their deposit. Explanation. Impermanent loss arises when the price of tokens in a liquidity pool diverges from their initial value, causing the LP to lose value compared to holding. It's especially prevalent in volatile token pairs and affects protocols like Uniswap and SushiSwap. Tools like impermanent loss calculators help mitigate risk. Question 30. Mr. Liam runs a node that indexes blockchain data for an NFT marketplace. He notices increasing delays in processing metadata due to large user traffic. What solution can Mr. Liam implement to ensure scalable off-chain data retrieval and integrity verification? A. Use WebSockets to stream smart contract states into a CSV database. B. Store metadata in JSON format on-chain for quick access. C. Use the graph protocol to index data and fetch it via subgraphs. D. Modify the consensus protocol to prioritize large NFT payloads. Correct answer. C. Use the graph protocol to index data and fetch it via subgraphs. Explanation. The graph is a decentralized indexing protocol that enables efficient querying of blockchain data through GraphQL APIs. Subgraphs track events and metadata, allowing scalable off-chain retrieval. It's widely used by OpenSea, Decentraland, and Lens protocol, and aligns with decentralized storage models.